In my recent videos that I made about comparison between chicken and goat farming, I talked about the startup capital, and many people misunderstood me because they thought that the amount of money that was required to start up goat, I had given it a lot of money. Yet for the chicken, it wasn't that much. So some of them thought that I was biased and I wanted people to join chicken instead of goats. I'm here, and in today's video I want us to talk about the startup capital that one needs to start up a goat farm. A goat farm is one of the profitable business, and I'm very sure about that because I have been in this business since my childhood, and my family has been operating such a venture, so I know what I'm talking about. And I will make sure that I give you all the information that you need, all the requirements that you need that will help you to start up a goat farm. I don't want anyone to enter in this venture and after 1 year he starts saying that I wasn't briefed about the costs that I'm going to incur. The costs that we are going to talk about today, we are going to talk about some estimates of different requirements that are going to need you to start up this farm or this venture, but still you can see and get a picture and a clear view of how you're going to be operating this venture. The first requirement that you need to start up a successful farm, that is land. This is Napier. Those people who know about Napier, this is super Napier Pasture, and it helps our animals. It gives them a nutritional content called fiber. You can feed your animals using fodder, just cutting them and you feed them directly, or you can make silage out of it, and many people have really benefited from it. It is planted on land. So if you don't have land, where are you going to plant this? And guys, those people who think that when you're entering a venture of livestock keeping that you need to be purchasing food for these animals, it's going to be costly for you. If there is any room of you acquiring land and you plant your pastures, this business is going to be very you're going to like the business, and the profit margin is going to increase. Because if all of these, I'm on the 15-acre model that I'm preparing, whereby we are going to be having a feedlot, we are going to be having goat farming, we are going to be doing sheep. All of those livestock, they will be getting their feed from here, and I'm planting a variety of them. We have planted Napier, we planted Bracaria varieties, we planted alfalfa, and we are planting many, even corn. So we are doing that such that these animals can really get the balanced diet that they would have gotten when they had gone for grazing. So the reason why I'm telling you all of that all of those pastures are planted on land, and land is our first requirement. But still someone may say that I don't have that money to buy land. How can you help me? No, if you don't have money for buying land, just go and lease that land. You can go somewhere, you rent like 2 acres. For instance, if someone wants to start, for example, with 50 goats, and you have your vision or the target of not exceeding 300 goats, that means on zero grazing, we are going to give 50 goats per acre, meaning you need 6 acres for 300 goats. But still, if you're going to start with 50, that means you might not go directly to pay for 6 acres. You can go to some people, because I know there are many people who have their big chunks of land, giving you a lease of 10 years, 6 acres. When you're acquiring it for 10 years, they can give it to you. And still, if you can decide and you say, no, during the course of my business, I can buy slowly by slowly. I buy 1 acre, I pay for another acre, like that. It can also help you very much, but you have to be also very sure with someone that you're dealing with. But my advice on this, if you want to acquire land and you have your money, it is better you pay that land of yours instead of hiring because many people, Africa, many people really they undermine law, and you might end up, when you have put up your housing, when you have done all the facilities that are required, but they chase you off even before your time elapses. So what I can advise you on that issue is you go and buy your land, even though you start with 2 acres, but still with a hope of increasing on the size of the land such that it helps you to accommodate that target of yours of 300 that you're looking at. Because don't think that 2 acres will facilitate the 300 goats. No, 6 acres can sustain those 300 goats throughout the year. And usually when you're going to rent here in Uganda, I don't know in your countries, other countries, but here in Uganda, usually the renting of an acre for a year, it is always 400 to 500,000 Ugandan shillings. So that means if you're renting 6 acres, that is 2.4 if you have gone with the 400,000. For someone who is going to buy the acre remote areas, you might get an acre at 5 million and above, 5 to 10 million. If we say that you have got it at 5 million, that means 6 acres dot at 30 million Ugandan shillings. And you say that I have cleared that and I'm ready to go to the next step. That is the nutrition or the pastures that these goats, that when you buy them, what they are going to be feeding on. And these pastures, many people really are taking it for granted, and they are not taking them seriously, because they think if I buy land, I will just cut the pastures that are on the land that I have found on land and I will feed them. No. If you've decided to do a serious business and you want to see your value for money, you want to see a high production at the end of the year, at the end of a specified time, you need to feed your goats on what they want or on what they require. Because whenever you look at a certain pasture, it will give you a picture of the nutritional content that it will give you. For example, I'm standing in the Napier garden because we planted Napier with, are you looking at this? This is jack beans. These are jack beans. This is Napier. The reason why we intercropped them is because we want to fix nitrogen into the soil. Because here they are just making 2 months, because we wanted to apply some manure. Luckily enough, we have our manure that we are going to apply in this garden, so that we make that the production is consistent and it is going really to serve the purpose for why we planted it here. Pastures are very, very crucial. Make sure that when you're looking at the nutritional content, you should know that these goats need protein, and if they need protein, what kind of pastures are going to be well to supply that nutritional content to my animals. That one, usually it is for legumes. Legumes are the ones that usually give us that nutritional content. And you look at the carbohydrates, that the energy or sugars, which one is going to give me that? And usually that one, we get it from corn, sugar grains. Even this Napier can help you to supply to you energy to your animals. Then the third is fiber content. Fiber content, usually we get it from chloris hay. If you're going to feed your animals hay, chloris is going to help you. Brocaria morato or Brocaria bilharzia, all the Brocaria varieties can help you to supply to you the fibers and other nutritional content that these animals are going to really enjoy, and you will see your animals increasing in size, production increasing. Then another thing is supplementation. After making sure that you know the type of pastures that you're going to plant, also you should also know the supplementation that you're going to make, because now these goats it's like they're in a jail and you're supplying to them the food that you think it is going to be proper for them. So it is also very beneficial to know the supplements, like mineral blocks. You should supplement them with mineral blocks. You should give them pellets if you have some of them, especially the kids, these mothers that are breastfeeding, they need high nutrition, it is better to also think in that aspect. Someone who is going to plant an acre for these animals, you shouldn't plant one type of pastures. That is why when you come to our office, we have a variety of pastures that we are going to take you through in our consultation. We are going to show you a variety of them, the hay, the napier, the seeds of various pasture, to help you understand that if you plant this, your animals are going to benefit a lot. So if we look at the protein content, we are looking at these jack beans, the alfalfa, the velvet beans. If you're going to plant 1 acre of legumes, you will need 3 kgs of alfalfa. Each kg ranges between 100,000 Ugandan shillings to 130,000 Ugandan shillings. If we give it 130, that means 1 acre times 3, that is almost 390 Ugandan shillings. That is the money for the seeds for 1 acre that you're going to plant for protein content if you have gone to alfalfa. But if you have gone to velvet beans, a kg ranges between 20,000 to 30,000. If we take 30,000 shillings times 5, that is 150 Ugandan shillings. If we go to these jack beans, each kg is 20,000. That means 1 acre you will require to plant like 10 kgs, making 200,000 Ugandan shillings. So it will help you to understand how much these people that are going to plow your land, how much are they going to be needing. But usually 1 acre, it will take you like 100,000 Ugandan shillings. If you're going to plant jack beans, 100,000 for the plowing and 200,000 for the seeds, that is 300,000. If we go to velvet beans, I have said 150 for the seeds and 100,000 for the plowing, that is 250. If we go to alfalfa, you need 390,000 for the seeds and 100,000 for the plowing, making 490,000 Ugandan shillings. That is the part for the protein. If we go to the part of maize, or if we go to the carbohydrates and you want to plant maize, 1 acre, of course the plowing will still remain the same, and it will depend on where you're going to buy the seeds from. But usually you will need close to 10 kgs to plant for that maize, and it depends on 1 kg. It might be 10,000, that is 100,000 plus the plowing, making it 200,000 an acre. If you want the fodder, the napier, each sack is 30,000 Ugandan shillings, and if you want to plant for 1 acre, you might require 10 of them, making 300,000 Ugandan shillings. That means plus the plowing, they will charge you 100,000 per 1 acre. The charge of labor, it depends on the labor that you're going to use to plow. I'm not saying that it is constant. It might be even more than that or less than that, depending on where you're going to plant. That means napier will require you 400,000 Ugandan shillings. So if you plant 1 acre of napier, taking 400,000, and you plant 1 acre for alfalfa, taking 490, that is making 890, and you do 300,000 for the maize, making 1.29 million Ugandan shillings. Those are how many acres? 1, 2, 3. Those are 3 acres, and they are taking that money. If you need a detailed consultation about that, please don't hesitate to contact us. Our contact, we shall leave it when this video is ending. So guys, nutrition is the next step you can take when you're going to do zero grazing. And I question you about that. Don't bring any of your animal if you're not ready with that. Then another capital that we are going to look at, that is the capital for the housing. Remember, we have acquired our land, and we have land for the pastures, but still this venture needs housing at the farm. The housing, I talk about the house for the workers, the staff quarters. I'm talking about the goats housing facility. If you're looking at zero grazing, you will need a goat's pen for zero grazing, as well as a storage facility for the pastures where you're going to keep the hay, because for the silage you can just clear anywhere and you make your silos, simple silos that you cover. You can be getting that feeds for your goats and you take it to them. Someone may ask that I'm starting with 50 goats. How much capital do I need for the housing facility? Now, if we start with the staff quarters, the staff quarters you can build like 2 rooms for them. 1 room for the caretaker, you can put a decker. Then the second room you can do for the equipment that you're using at the farm, or you can keep anything at the farm. So usually those 2 rooms, or 3, but the 3 is the ideal if you can make 3 at the start. And usually those 3 will take you between 7 to 10 million, depending on where you're going to construct from and which materials that you're going to use. So those are the staff quarters. If you're looking at the goat's pen for 50 goats, but if you're going to start with 50 goats, I wouldn't advise you to construct a structure for 50. No. If your target is 300, at least you can construct for 100, maybe with the provision of expansion in future when the business is really moving. So if we are looking at 100 goats pen on a zero grazing, a standard one in our company, we charge you, if it is a raised one, we are going to charge you 12.4 million Ugandan shillings. If it is raised well, we have put the concrete skirting, everything done, that is the amount that we are going to charge you. But still, for someone who is not having that money, I wouldn't advise you to put up that structure. Though I recommend it very much, because it gives you a direction of how you're going to operate. It is going to ease management. It is going to save your goats from getting sick. It's going to save you from various losses that you would have incurred when you're doing this business. So if you don't have that money, then you can go for ground structures. If you do a ground structure for 100 goats on a zero grazing system, then that one, it might cost you between 7 million to 10 million. The difference is only 2 million Ugandan shillings. So I would advise you, if you have that money, do it. But if that money is not there, then still you can also do that ground structures for the start, and maybe in future you can upgrade slowly by slowly. Those people who have ground structure, there is something that they are not telling you, but in one way or the other they are really facing consequences and they are facing challenges that they might not come and tell you in the camera. So it is very, very crucial, if you're planning to put up that good structure, make sure that the place that you're going to put it on, it is drained enough, especially for those people who are going to do the ground structures. Make sure that your floor is drained well. If these goats sleep there, the area does not get soggy, the area does not become uncomfortable for them, because some goats even don't sleep because of that ground. They spend the night when they are standing, they end up getting stressed and not loving the environment. And if we say 12.4 million plus the 10 million for the housing, that is 22.4 million Ugandan shillings. That is the amount of money that you are going to be required to inject in for basic housing that you're going to begin with at your farm. Another requirement, and this is one of the requirements that many people go wrong and they end up really cursing the venture in their first days of operation, and that is stocking. To stock, I mean to buy these animals. But now, where is the challenge? Where are people messing up? When they have come, when they have been in a right place and they have been doing everything in the right way. Why is it that when they reach this stage of stocking, they tend to mess up very fast. Now, here is where people get greedy with their money and they decide to go to the markets to buy these goats from. Last night, someone sent me a message. He sent me some pics for his goats, and I saw many of the signs that these goats that he sent me before they died, I saw that the signs are for viral infection, for PPR. So they died because of that. But now he does not even know how to trace them. The only question I asked him, I told him that, when did you stock these animals and where did you buy them from? He told me, I bought these goats from the market. Meaning he wanted to save some money. But when he's buying, whenever he's, how much are you selling that one? You bring it here. How much are you selling that one? You bring it here. And he gathers them, he takes them to keep them. Yet, someone who is disposing his goats that are maybe not productive, the goats that have challenges, they take them to the market. And that is why I usually I get hardship in eating this meat from the market, because many times farmers give out these goats or cows or any other livestock for slaughtering when they are not those quality animals, or when they have problems, they have challenges, they have been disturbing them, so they give them, you go and eat them, or the old ones, they say, you go and eat them. You end up eating things that are not even to the standard. That's why I say you become a farmer and you eat that one that you slaughter. You reach at the farmer and say that I want to slaughter that. You slaughter it, you eat it, well knowing that you have eaten a quality animal than eating something which you don't know what really made it to be slaughtered. So you have to be very, very careful. Where are you going to buy? Because when you go, for me, I advise you to buy from the farmers, prominent farmers, the farmer that you have been following for a while, the farmer that really you're going to tell your challenge that you're getting, that is going to help you to solve it. Because if someone buys a goat or buys animals from me and he gets challenges, I make sure that I first look at how can we solve them and where are these challenges coming from. Because you might think that these goats were having issues when your management is the one that is giving them headache, and it's the one that is stressing them, and they start not to be so active and not productive because of the management that is at the farm. As I told you that if you start farming, you still have to continue learning. Even us who have been in this business for so many years, since my childhood, but still I'm in different WhatsApp groups. I created my WhatsApp group whereby various farmers are there and they give advice to our new farmers. They come on helping them along the way. So I would advise you that you keep learning and continuing to see that you improve your farm. But now, how much money is needed for stocking? For someone who is going to start, for instance, let us focus on the capacity of the female goats and the male goats. And we say that one male is sufficient to serve 30 female. And if you're going to buy these 30 females and you want to do meat production, I wouldn't advise you to go for locals, because these local, they take long to mature. That is number one. Number two, their production is not that high. If you start with crossed breeds, maybe, because that is the money that is somehow fair, because the pedigrees or the pures, they are very expensive. Because even one male goat for a pure breed, you are required to pay 5.5 million Ugandan shillings. For a female, above 2 million Ugandan shillings. But if you go to crossed ones, for our crossed ones, below 80%, they are 450,000 Ugandan shillings. Above that, 500, but not beyond 93%. They are between 450 to 500,000 Ugandan shillings. Those are female. So if you're buying 30, that is 15 million Ugandan shillings for the female goats. If you're going to buy a male, you might buy it a crossed one, but still you need to get a cross that is having a higher percentage to the female, because we want to get offsprings that are better than their mothers. So that one, you might buy it at 2 million Ugandan shillings, making 17 million Ugandan shillings. That is for someone who is going to buy crossed breeds. Hope I'm very clear on that. You need 17 million to stock those 31 goats to begin with them. This is our last requirement that you need, and that is the operational costs. The operational capital, that is the money that you can set aside that is going to run this business. The operational costs, we are talking about the money that you're going to put aside to pay these workers of yours. We are talking about the money that you're going to use to buy medication for these animals. We are looking at many expenses, your money that you're going to be putting in to supervise this project. That money, I would advise someone to set aside at least the money that is going to cater for all of those at least for a year if you don't want stress from this venture. And you know that this amount has been set aside and is going to cater for medication, and this amount is going to cater for the workers' salaries that are going to be working at the farm. Because if you give it a serious touch, or if you make sure that you're serious on that, it is not going to put you on pressure. For example, there is certain challenges that we get that are abrupt. They just come unexpectedly. It will give you the direction. It does not shock you when you don't have money, but if you have money, then you're going to handle that very smoothly and the business is going to keep on moving. Guys, the reason why I'm speaking all of this, I need you to be prepared and you really know how much you're going to inject this business. But for someone, the clue I can give you on this, if you're looking at to start up a farm and you have taken all the steps that I have talked about, just know if you're going to buy land, I have been focusing on the side of someone who is doing zero grazing. But for someone who is going to do free range, I made a video about the size of land that you need for zero grazing and free range. How big should that land be? And I'm going to leave a link in this description. You can go on and watch. But for a free range person, you need 20 goats per an acre, 20 or even 15 an acre. So that means if you're looking at 300 goats, how many are you looking at? Like 15 acres, 15 to 20 acres. If you have that money for leasing or buying and you don't want to put your stress on planting pastures, but still you can do supplementation for these goats. It is very beneficial to do supplementation so that they don't move the longer distances when they are looking for something to eat. The operational costs, they are not much, and it depends on how many workers that you're going to use and how often are these goats going to get challenges. So for that one, it is you to sit down and you sit with someone who is going to give you those goats to help you understand. But still, I know that you're not going to spend a lot, because a worker, you need like 200,000 or 250,000 Ugandan shillings. For the medications, you might even just incur like 30,000 per month. But still, I tell you that you should stock your medicine so that whenever you need to treat, when that medicine is there. Now you have heard everything that I have talked about, and you're asking yourself that what is the estimated amount that I'm going to incur if I'm to follow those steps. My estimate is between 80 to 90 million Ugandan shillings to start. Meaning you have bought land. If you've leased, you might go below than that. But still, I'm not saying that that is the amount of money that you have to first solicit until it is you have it in the pocket, you begin. No, you can begin slowly, injecting. Whenever you get, you inject. Whenever you get, you inject. Whenever you get, you inject. You will find that you have even injected more than 100 million when you have never even caught them in one hand, but still you have injected that amount. So that means that you can start small, slowly by slowly, step by step, but making sure that whatever step that you finish, you are not supposed to repeat it. The challenge that many people get is doing here, they leave it, they get another step, they do it, No. You need to go step by step. So, someone who wanted this video, I think I have tried to answer your question of the how much money is really required for someone to start a decent, a serious farm. If you've been watching till this minute and you haven't subscribed, tap that subscribe button and the notification bell such that you are notified in our next upload. And guys, thank you very much for always supporting us. We are always open to consultation. Our offices are always open to help you. We have all the pasture seeds that you require. We do all the consultation, construction for the animal housing, for the standard farms. It is a cocktail. We make sure that every time we improve our services so that you also benefit as well. May the Lord bless you all. Assalamu alaikum.